Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. Of course, I'm Ninon, your host, and I have Michael, the peace dealer, with me. Now, that could mean a lot of things, so we're going to find out, but I think it's something to do with astrology and reading cards. And okay, I might sit back a little bit. And Michael, what do you read?
I read...
What are you reading?
I definitely read the stars. I like to focus more on astrology.
Astrology?
Yeah, there's several different modalities with reading per se, but my specialty is astrology and the stars for sure.
Excuse me. Which is your favorite sign?
My favorite zodiac sign?
Yes.
You know what? This is such a good question. I really like Libra and Sagittarius, but the older I get, I'm really coming to appreciate Gemini, my own sign, our own sign.
Are you a Gemini?
Yes.
What's your date?
June 11.
I'm June the 19th.
Yes.
So there's actually 4 people sitting here. There's me and my shadow, and Michael and his shadow. And sometimes we let you see that shadow, and sometimes, mostly, we do not let you see that shadow, but it comes out all the time because we get our moods.
Oh, yeah.
We want to be totally alone, and then when we're totally alone, oh, we don't like this, we now got to get active.
A little bit of... We get the best of both worlds, I'd say. Yeah.
I always say that. Now, it's funny you should say, because Libra, I was married to a Libra for 29 years.
Okay.
And I found with him, because they're the scales, right?
Yeah.
I found with that sign, with a Gemini, he was able to balance me out.
That's beautiful, yeah.
And this is why we had this incredible relationship, because he gave me the excitement, but then we also had the quiet moments.
Yeah. I find Libra to be fascinating. That's a really great combo with Gemini, and they can match
2
our...
and 2.
Yeah, well, they definitely balance out the scales, and they can match our intellect too, really well, which makes
now, when you
conversations
say match
fun.
our intellect, now why are so bad? Why are Geminis so? They are very intellectual and they're very fast thinking.
Yes.
And
yes,
they can jump in on an answer on a spin.
Yeah.
And they can walk into a room and they know who's everybody is. Why is that?
That's a really good question. So, when you take the zodiac into account, there's 12 signs. There's 4 different elements, and there's 3 different states. Okay. So Gemini is an air sign, and air is all about communication, thoughts, intellect, but it represents a mutable state where there's Libra, which is cardinal, and then Aquarius is more fixed. So the mutable state of our energy allows us to be here and there and really just be in the experience.
Are we able to pick up each one of those different zodiac signs?
Yes.
Are we able to pick up their feelings and kind of who they are and what they are? It seems that way. We look and we know.
Yeah. You mean for Geminis or
yeah,
just
for Geminis that sort of they seem to know not who but they seem to pick up the energy of different people.
That's a really great question. We technically are the messengers, so we're able to communicate with everyone.
That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm the messenger.
A master of communication. Yes.
Yes.
Very
so
well.
now, what you just met me. You saw me do an interview before.
Yeah.
What are you reading out of myself? What are you getting out of Ninon's energy? Who is Ninon?
Well, I did read your chart a little bit before, so
oh, good.
It's going to be heavily influenced. I would say one thing that you really protrude very well. Your moon is in Leo, right, and then your rising sign is in Cancer. So
okay, is this good or bad?
Well, it could be good and bad. The bad part, I would say, is sometimes you could react maybe a bit too passionately to things, or
that's when I get into trouble.
I don't see it as a bad thing, though.
No.
I think I personally am biased towards that because I feel like being heartfelt and heart-centered is why you have this platform for people with talents, right?
Yes.
But I would say giving your energy, and I mean, it's kind of redundant because I've just seen you do this too, but you allow people to speak their heart, and you do speak from the heart as well.
Oh, I do, yes, right, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, no phony bits.
I would say you're even a judge of the heart. Like you're receptive to how passionate people are, but you're also mentally connected with them as well. But I would say the best part is your Cancer rising, because this allows you to still be compassionate and hold space for people and really feel people out quite amazingly. Although that's still a very surface level interpretation, because
We'll find out more later.
Oh yes, it gets deeper, I promise
It's
you.
deeper. This is just kind of a little bit of the surface going on here. Now, what is the difference between, and we're talking about Geminis because that's what I am, and I talk about me, but what is the difference between a male Gemini and a female Gemini?
That's another
There's a
fascinating
big
question.
difference because my dad was a Gemini, my mother was a Gemini.
No
there was
way.
three, my mother, my father, and myself, all of us were Geminis.
Wow.
And I left home when I was 16. I often wonder why, but I think I know why.
My mother's a Gemini too. So I'm glad you said you're a Gemini. Like, it's not wrong to say you're a Gemini, but for those who might get too technical, technically all the 12 zodiac signs are part of our makeup.
Yes.
So it's more accurate to say that our spirits are Gemini. We represent Gemini, but still saying I'm a Gemini is accurate. But it's such a great question to ask the difference between the men and the women, because when you study the signs, 6 of the signs are more masculine, 6 of the signs are more feminine.
Okay.
So a sign like Gemini is a masculine energy, and the men will definitely represent it, but it gives the woman actually more of an edge over the men in some cases, because they're still able to harness their own feminine quality and essence. And I would say, whereas the men might be more outspoken, the women are more analytical with it.
Okay.
The telepathy is stronger too. You're able to
Communicate.
communicate, read minds based on people's body language. And I would, from my experience, it's just a greater elegance to Gemini women, because
I love being a Gemini.
Yeah.
I absolutely love being a
that's great.
woman. I love being a woman. I love having, I love the men my husband took very, very good care of me, but that was not something out of the ordinary for me. That was something he had to do. He was the man. Take care of your woman.
That's
and
true.
so it wasn't something that I was expecting. It was something very natural, that's what a man does.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted out of life. But I love being a woman. I don't want any of this man stuff. When we talk about equal pay and equal this and equal that, well, that's fine. Then go and fight it yourself and get what you need. Get it. You know, don't settle for less. Don't accept it and then complain about it.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like what you're going to get paid, ask for more.
True that.
If you think you're equal to the man, just ask.
And I'll say,
And women don't do that.
and I'll say that's what differentiates Gemini women from other women. Those women are more likely to really go out and express and speak the truth. My mother has been a pediatrician for years, and she never shied away from speaking on any unfairness that's happened. Like, she represented herself and stood with integrity.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I got to see a shining example of Gemini.
You sure did. Since we're coming to the end, what would you recommend to the 12 signs out there for so it's kind of generic?
Okay.
What would you recommend?
I recommend you get a reading from me. Talk to me.
Oh, great. Yeah, well, we're going to get your name out there and everything else.
But honestly, the reason why I do readings is for people to reclaim their power. Like, there's not enough like literature or rhetoric on this. So if you know who you are and how your energy works, you can be more confident. You can fight against any misunderstanding. So my real advice is to believe in yourself and to take your strengths and weaknesses and really own up to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that's what I teach. I do a lot of teaching, and I always teach people that go and recognize who you are, get alignment with yourself first. I know a lot of people say this and say, you know, just look at you first. Well, I'm not saying, get yourself in alignment, understand who you are, pick out all the things you are, and put them all together and say, this is who I am, and I'm not going to be ashamed of who I am or what I am. And I don't think anybody should be ashamed of who they are and what they are. And a lot of people are inhibited sometimes because of maybe their deeper thoughts or maybe the way they think. Well, everybody thinks and has crazy thinking, attitudes and what have you.
I like when people embrace that, because as long as you take responsibility for it and you don't blame other people.
Take responsibility for yourself. If I do something wrong, I'm going to say sorry. How can they reach you, Michael?
I'm on YouTube as The Peace Dealer. You can shoot me an email at thepeacedealer.com. It's peace, love, and harmony. And my website is thepeacedealer.com if you want to schedule a consultation or if you just want to talk to me, shoot me an email.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, I've been talking to this young gentleman for a few weeks now. We've gone back and forth, and he got a lot of information about me without having all my information, and I thought, how did he know that? But you know, some people just know. I don't know. I'd never met him. We hadn't actually spoken until now because this was through emails, so we'd never actually spoken. So it was wonderful, Michael, and thank you for coming on the show.
I'm so honored. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, and I think what you do is amazing. Thank you for watching Vegas Live with Ninon. We'll be right back.